Hi, it's Dr. Phoenix. Today we're going to be looking at proteins in our continuing discussion of organic molecules in our biochemistry unit. Proteins are the most diverse and without a doubt they are the most abundant of all the organic molecules. Proteins are literally what we are built from. They're the building blocks of life. Every trait, every function that goes on within a living system is a result of proteins either forming the structure of it or determining the function of it. Proteins are macromolecules. They are very, very large, and they also contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, just like we've seen in the others so far. But with proteins, we now see the addition of nitrogen and sometimes sulfur. So when you see nitrogen, think proteins. The building blocks or the monomers of proteins are amino acids. And if you look at amino acids as letters of the alphabet, you can get an idea of how they build proteins. Just like with 26 letters in the alphabet, you can create unlimited numbers of words. With 20 amino acids, you can create unlimited numbers of proteins. Now, amino acids have similarities. The 20 amino acids are all similar in this way. Each amino acid, and this is a general amino acid right here, each amino acid has what's known as an amino group, which is NH2 on one side of the molecule, and a carboxyl group, COOH, on the other side of the molecule. That is what's similar among all 20 of the amino acids. What's different is what's known as the R group. The R group has a different molecule hanging off of the side of the amino acid, and that gives the amino acid some different properties. So when two amino acids are being put together to build a protein, they line up side by side like this, and the OH group from this carboxyl group comes off, and a hydrogen from the amine group comes off, and that is going to end up forming water, H2O, and a bond will form between the carbon and the nitrogen, between the carboxyl group and the amino group. That bond is given a special name. It's called a peptide bond. If we wanted to add another amino acid, the same process would occur. The OH from the carboxyl group and the hydrogen from the amino group would come off, forming water, and that bond again is called a peptide bond. This would go on and on and on, and we'd form a long chain of amino acids. As this chain is growing, we will call this a polypeptide chain because there are many peptide bonds. But ultimately it's going to result in a protein being formed. Because these R groups are all different, it gives each amino acid a little bit different property. And the order that these amino acids are placed will determine ultimately the shape of the resulting protein. Each amino acid will have either an attraction toward one another, or they will have a repulsion towards one another, or it will cause a bend in the molecule or a twist or a turn, and we end up with a particular shape. Proteins' function are determined by their shape. And so the order that these amino acids are placed in is very important in determining the shape and therefore the function of the protein. So the different functions of proteins are, as I mentioned at the beginning, they are a structural molecule. They are literally the bricks from which we're built from. There are proteins that act as transportation molecules and move substances throughout the body. Some proteins form hormones. which coordinate body activities. Our muscles contain specific kinds of proteins that have the ability to cause our muscles to contract. And many proteins become enzymes. Enzymes are catalysts that help speed up chemical reactions, and they are very important. We'll have a webcast just discussing the function of enzymes. The general examples of proteins are meat. Meats are considered complete proteins. By that I mean, of the 20 amino acids, our body can make 12 of them, but the other 8 we have to eat. Okay, we cannot manufacture them. And so food products that have all 8 of these amino acids are called complete proteins. Complete proteins. And meat products are complete proteins. If you're not a meat eater, then generally you're going to have to combine foods to get all of the essential amino acids, all 8 of those. There are some non-meat sources that are complete proteins, but most of non-meat sources are incomplete. But you can get complete proteins by mixing different food items, like grains and beans, for instance, would be a complete protein. All right, some specific examples now of proteins. Collagen, we think of collagen as something that you would inject into the skin, and that is done, but collagen is a protein that's in our skin normally. It's in our bones, it's in our connective tissue. It's a very important structural molecule that helps hold us together. Hemoglobin is a transportation molecule. Hemoglobin is in red blood cells, and it helps to carry oxygen throughout our body. Growth hormone is a hormone that's made of proteins, and it has an effect on generally all of our cells. And abnormalities with growth hormone, either too much or too little, can cause gigantism or dwarfism. Lactase is an enzyme, and lactase helps to break down lactose, which is milk sugar. Okay, the miscellaneous facts about carbohydrates are that there are 4 calories per gram. I'm sorry, I'm talking about proteins, obviously. 4 calories per gram, just like we saw with carbohydrates. Now, the body does not generally use proteins as an energy source. We talked about all the functions of proteins, and energy wasn't one of them. But it can use proteins as an energy source as a last resort. The body is always going to use glucose first, fat second, and then if necessary will burn protein. So you're pretty much in a starvation state if your body is utilizing protein as an energy source. Okay, that takes care of protein. Please respond on My Big Campus with any questions you might have, or come to class with those questions. Have a great day.